Hey, welcome to the show, everybody. My name is Mark Farzy. This is the Farzy Show. We got a Phillies victory to talk about. We got Joel Embiid to talk about. Apparently, Houston wants Joel Embiid now. That's people just, I think, spinning their wheels. But it's still in the conversation. We got Joel Embiid telling James Harden he wants to stay in Philadelphia. He wants him to stay, whatever. And we got preseason game number 2 tonight against the Cleveland Browns in South Philadelphia at 7:30. I'm going to give you 5 things that I'm going to be looking for the most. 5 things I was looking forward to about watching in tonight's preseason game. Now, here's the kicker. I don't know if they're going to happen. Now, it's not like I want to see Jalen Hurts out there playing. We might. I doubt it. I don't think we need to. It's not a matter of him and A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith being on the field at the same time again. It's not a matter of that. It's all guys that I'm really rooting for and pulling for to either make this roster or make an impact on this roster as a starter. We'll get into that conversation. We will talk about that Phillies game last night with Bryce Harper's 2 home runs. How awesome was that? I think it was on this show yesterday morning. I did 3 shows yesterday. I did my show, I did Sports Take, and then I did the Phillies postgame show. So I did a lot of talking. I did a lot of yapping yesterday. But I believe it was during this program that I said Bryce Harper just looks a little bit off. He both in how he is hitting the baseball just under it and how he's reacting to how he's hitting the baseball. It's almost as if he is seeing meatballs come across the plate. He's seeing beach balls come across the plate, and he's just missing it. He's so disgusted with himself. That should have been gone, and I swung under it. Like that kind of reaction. And then sure enough, last night, he goes out there and he has his first multi-home run game of the season. He has his first multi-home run game since June 3rd of last year. So good to see again, Bryce Harper. A little bit of a lull when it came to the home runs, but he bounced right back when the Phillies needed him in this series to at least get the split and the series win for the season against the Toronto Blue Jays. Phillies continue to have some success there against the AL East, and I'm not opposed to it. They've taken care of business against the Blue Jays. They've taken care of business against the Rays and the Orioles as well. They started out that season with not such a great time in New York against the Yankees. But other than that, they've been pretty solid against the AL East. So when I look at that game last night and I see what the Phillies did, they got a huge error, a 2-run error from Espinal at third base, and they were able to kind of ride that with some momentum. Up until then, Aaron Nola just continues to look like a guy that does not settle in well to that 1 or 2 role in the rotation. Here's where I'm at with Aaron Nola, and I came to this conclusion last night. Now, the Phillies won, so I'm happy they won. I'm not going to lose my mind over it. But here's where I'm at with Aaron Nola. Somebody hit me up on the old X social media platform last night, the platform formerly known as Twitter. And they said, I'm done with Nola. I don't want him on my team. Let him walk at the end of the year and all that. And normally, I would say, give him time. But this year, it's been plenty of time. And Corey Simon of NBC Sports Philadelphia pointed out last night that it's the 4th consecutive start by Aaron Nola where he was unable to gain a quality start of 6 innings and 3 runs. That, like an ace of a staff, a 1 or 2 on a staff, especially a playoff pitching staff, shouldn't even be concerned. And I'm not saying it's necessarily Aaron Nola's concern, but it's our concern watching him pitch and keeping track of how he is getting hit. It shouldn't even be on our minds as to whether or not he can have at least one, God, I even hate referencing the quality start, but that he can have at least one quality start every 4 outings. Like that's like a number 3, number 4 goal in a rotation. That's a number 5 guy dreaming. Like that's how a number 5 pitcher in a rotation thinks about the Hall of Fame. If I could just get 4 quality starts in a row, oh man, that'd be something. That shouldn't even be on Aaron Nola's radar this year. Shouldn't be on his radar ever. And yet here we are, 5 innings, 4 runs. He picks up his 10th win of the season. I've referenced many times that he's had maybe 2 starts that were good back-to-back, where he didn't get shelled back-to-back. And then to look at it where, wow, he has in 4 consecutive starts, he hasn't had a quality start. Like, do you know what a low bar the word quality is? Oh, it's quality. It's slightly above, well, he pitched today. It's like if you asked Rob Thompson after the game, so what'd you think of Aaron Nola? Well, he pitched today. Was it quality? Not really. Oh, great. I know it's a really good lineup, but I know you're facing guys. Biggio, Bichette isn't even in the lineup, but Biggio, obviously, Guerrero is obviously in there. Springer, Brandon Belt. I mean, veteran, good hitters and veteran hitters on that club. Varsho hurt you yesterday with a 2-run home run, right? Watching him pitch yesterday, it just felt like you were not going to get those shutdown innings, and you didn't get those shutdown innings. If you go through the game yesterday and you watch what Nick Castellanos was able to do for you, getting his first double in that second inning, somehow magically he didn't score on that play, but honestly, I think if they would have sent him, they would have thrown him out at home. Ball bounced right back to who was in the left field yesterday? Merrifield, and he was able to get it in quickly. And Castellanos wasn't sure if the ball was going to be caught or not, but that was weird. But anyway, they end up getting a run in that inning thanks to Jake Cave. A bases loaded situation, nobody out. Jake Cave comes up with an RBI sac fly, so they got 1 run across. And then right after that, bottom of the second inning, bottom half of that inning, Varsho comes up with a 2-run home run, so you don't have a shutdown inning. Now you're instead of leading 2-0, or excuse me, 1-0, you're now down 2-1. Then Bryce Harper ties things up in the very next inning, in the third inning with his first solo home run of the night. Then Biggio comes back and is able to get a 2-run single in the bottom of the third inning on an 0-2 sinker that Nola just left up in the zone. He put that in the outfield. Then it's a 4-2 lead for the Blue Jays. Fifth inning, they were able to grab the lead back, which was great. But in the second and third inning, after your offense got you some runs, you gave the lead right back, or you let the game be tied. That shouldn't be a thing for a guy that's supposed to be a 1 or at worst 2 in a rotation. This year is one of those years where you look at Aaron Nola and you say, oh, yeah, this guy's a 4th starter in a rotation. The problem is, going back to the person that hit me up on social media saying, well, I don't want him on the team next year. I get it now. Normally, I'd defend it. I'd say, oh, he's up and down stars, whatever. But this is now how Aaron Nola has pretty much run his entire career. He has a really good year where he gets thinking the Cy Young conversation, and then he has a terrible year. He has a really good year, and he's in the Cy Young conversation, and then he has a bad year. And it kind of goes back and forth like that. So if you did let Aaron Nola go, it would probably bite you in the butt next year because he's probably going to have a good year. If you keep Aaron Nola, then probably, let's say he signs a 5-year contract with the Phillies. On the way it's going right now, good year, bad year, good year, bad. Yeah, you'd have about 3 good years in the 5, potentially, here in Philly. But if they don't bring him back, then I'm fine with it. That's where I'm at right now. He's too inconsistent to invest a big contract in. Now, here's this season, it's definitely worked out for the Phillies' favor, because if he would have signed a contract after last year, the Phillies would have paid a considerable amount more money. But now that he's got a down year, Phillies have a nice little bargaining chip in their back pocket. Now, with that being said, do you want to bring back somebody who's coming off a down year? Do you want somebody who's coming off a down year and still signed, no matter how you look at it? The Phillies aren't getting Aaron Nola. No one around Major League Baseball signing Aaron Nola to like a 5-year deal for $50 million. Like, that's not happening. He's going to get in like the 130 to 150 range. That's the way it's going to go down if somebody else gets involved. But I don't want the Phillies bringing him back on a contract like that. That report that came out last week about 120, yeah, okay. Oh, $20 million for Aaron Nola? Yeah, that's kind of the going rate now for a decent pitcher. And I think he will be a decent pitcher over the course of that contract. The first year, he'll be good. The second year, he'll be bad. And then he'll be good again. Then he'll be bad. Then he'll be good again. So he'll get 3 good years out of it. And by the Aaron Nola philosophy, he'll be good. But I'm at a point now with Aaron Nola where I just can't. I can't even be optimistic. It's August. This isn't a turnaround season. The only thing you could say about Aaron Nola that might be positive is the same thing you would say about Trey Turner 2 weeks ago. Well, maybe you get to the playoffs and all of a sudden that tournament atmosphere has him feeling like he's back in the World Baseball Classic and he'll be hitting dingers again. Well, no, he's doing just fine and dandy ever since those standing ovations. So maybe you don't need to wait for the playoffs for Trey Turner. Well, it turns out you don't have to wait for the playoffs for Trey Turner. By the way, another hit last night for Trey Turner. He's hit safely now in 10 of his last 11 of his last 12 games at Miss Cusi. But with Aaron Nola, there's just no defending it anymore. But last night, 5 innings, 4 runs, all of them earned, 4 walks, by the way, struck out 7. 97 pitches through those 5 innings of work. Got extremely lucky to even log 5 innings, by the way, because that particular play in the bottom of the 5th inning. Now, to set the scene, Kyle Schwarber worked a walk in the top of the 5th. Harper worked a walk. You have a 2-out situation. Nick Castellanos goes up there, hits a second double. Then you have Bryson Stott hit what should have been a ground out to Espinal at third. Ends up being a 2-run error, where the Phillies grabbed a 5-4 lead, just like that. Then you go into the bottom half of that inning. JT Realmuto is behind the plate, obviously, catching for Aaron Nola. He draws catcher interference, which turns into a double play to get out of that inning. And Aaron Nola needed it. Otherwise, it would have been a runner in scoring position with 1 out. Well, he got the strikeout, so he still would have had a runner in scoring position with 2 outs. But instead, they end the threat. But that could have been a costly bottom half of the 5th inning. After the Phillies grabbed the lead, it looked like Aaron Nola could potentially allow the game to be tied or hand the lead right back to the Toronto Blue Jays. But thanks to JT Realmuto's play and his veteran know-how of leading into the batter a little bit, which he did, if we're being honest, you got out of that jam without a problem. Going to the 6th inning, Phillies were able to tack on a couple of more runs. You got a RBI from Alec Bohm. I would like to be Miza, by the way. Comes in, throws 3 pitches, allows a sac fly RBI, allows an RBI single to Alec Bohm, and then allows a single to Bryce Harper, and he's out of the game. 3 pitches, 3 positive things for the Phillies. Phillies were leading 7-4. The bullpen last night was fantastic. We've been waiting for a nice shutdown performance from the bullpen, especially after Sir Anthony Dominguez hit Biggio, Kevin Biggio with a bases loaded foot shot, I guess, for what was the game-winning RBI of 2 nights ago, the game 1 of this brief 2-game series. Strom comes in and was great. 2 innings, allowed a hit. He allowed 1 hit, and that was it. Craig Kimbrell comes in. Craig Kimbrell, 3 pitches to retire Vlad Guerrero Jr. That a fella. He handled his business out there. And then the little sprint over to first base to retire the side. Oh, I didn't know Craig Kimbrell was that athletic. Made the play. And then Gregory Soto came in to finish things off in that one. I listened to Rob Thompson after the game. He's been doing that a lot more. Soto and Kimbrell kind of flipping them as to how he uses them. So I found that to be interesting. But, yeah, that's what he went with last night. Then Bryce Harper and Jake Cave. How about this? Jake Cave got you your first RBI with making it a 1-0 game there in the 2nd inning. And then in the 8th inning, he hits his 3rd home run of the season. Love to see that for Jake Cave. And it was a no doubt about it, by the way. Absolute no doubt about it. And then you come into the top of the 9th inning, and Bryce Harper hits his 2nd home run of the ball game. Again, you absolutely love to see it. Here's Rob Thompson after the game talking about just how clutch, though, the bullpen was after Aaron Nola's 5-inning performance.
Fantastic. 1 hit. Yeah, Strom was great. He just came in and settled the game right down. And then Kimbrell was now Strom, Kimbrell, and Soto, if they hadn't pitched today, Kimbrell would have been on 4 days rest going into Washington, and Soto and Strom would be on 5 days rest. So they really needed a pitch today, so it worked out well.
Did you know Kimbrell had that defense in him, like when he ran?
Wow, he looked really athletic on that play. It was good, yeah.
The blazing speed of Craig Kimbrell. Fantastic. Phillies off today. They'll be back at it tomorrow against the Washington Nationals in Washington. They got 2 games in D.C. and then 1 in Williamsport for the Little League Classic. Here's where we're at right now with the wild card standings. The Giants got spanked yesterday. The Cubs, Marlins, and Reds are all in a tie for the 3rd wild card spot as of right now in that order. The Arizona Diamondbacks are a 1.5 games out. The San Diego Padres 4.5 games out, and the New York Mets, that's adorable. 11 games under 500, 7.5 games out. That's just, I look at them. They're so cute that they're still even playing little Mets. The little, that's great. There was an idea suggested, and I haven't heard this before, but I love it. And I read it from Alex Coffey at Inquirer.com. She had the quote from Bryce Harper after the game. They were talking about Little League World Series, and Bryce Harper had the idea of a Hall of Fame game. They do it in the NFL. And as someone who has been there for the production crew of the NFL Hall of Fame game for 7 of them? Yeah, 7 of them, I think. It's awesome. Like, imagine Cooperstown, New York, like Canton, Ohio. Okay? Not exactly a boom town by any means, right? But this one weekend, Hall of Fame weekend, they have the show. They honor the game in which they honor in the hall, and they actually play the game there. He suggested building up Doubleday Field and actually having a Hall of Fame game out there like they're doing this Little League World Series game. I think the Little League World Series thing is great. I love it. Seeing the players interact, seeing the MLB players interact with the Little League players is awesome. I'll never forget Reese Hoskins with, I'm forgetting the little kid's name. Was it Big Frank? It was something like that. And I hit dingers. And Reese Hoskins getting up close and personal with the kid and be like, what do we do? I hit dingers. I love seeing that interaction. And Bryce Harper suggesting that they go to another smaller venue in Doubleday Field in Cooperstown, New York, and play a Hall of Fame game over Hall of Fame weekend. I think it's a great idea. It would be just like the Hall of Fame. You know, 2 of the franchises or clubs that are being honored with a player going in would be playing at the Hall of Fame game, or maybe even a Hall of Fame series. I don't know. I doubt that because they lose money if they only played, in front of a capacity crowd of 5,000 or whatever it would hold after some renovations. But no, I love that idea. I absolutely love that idea. And Bryce Harper talking about it last night. It was like, why don't they do that already? This game that is so historic and honors their past so beautifully, they don't play an actual game in Cooperstown. I would love that. He also cited when he was playing as a kid, when he was traveling around with travel ball, and he was going to Cooperstown a lot for tournaments and whatnot. He was like, yeah, we should do this at the big league level. And I'm like, I would love to see that. If you're at all a baseball fan, you haven't been to Cooperstown yet, you haven't been to the Baseball Hall of Fame, strongly suggest the trip. I should go back. It's been a long time. I've only been there once. It was pretty cool, as one would imagine. So Phillies are back at it tomorrow night, 7:05 in Washington against the Nationals. So look forward to that. All right. Tonight, preseason game number 2. I was thinking about it, and I was trying to narrow it down to 5 things that I really want to see tonight. And here's what I got for you when it comes to the Eagles and the Browns kicking off at 7:30 tonight. In a particular order, all right, from things that I'm, I least want to see to things I most want to see, top to bottom. But all these things are things I want to see. Number 5. I think I got to get the name out of the way just because he's my camp crush. I got to be honest. I got to see Sidney Brown again. I want to see him play at the link. Here's my dream scenario for tonight. Excuse me. I want to see Sidney Brown lay the wood on somebody, okay? I want to see him take somebody down tonight on one of his aggressive plays, similar to what you saw 9 different times against the Ravens in preseason game number 1 last Saturday night. I want to see Sidney Brown come out and smack somebody in front of the hometown crowd in South Philadelphia at Lincoln Financial Field, and I want to hear that crowd. I want to hear the crunching of the pads, and I want to hear the crowd, ooh. I want to hear 50,000, ooh. That's what I want to hear. I also will be, because, look, I know he can be aggressive. I know he can hit. I know he can tackle, all that stuff. I want to watch him a little bit closer now, knowing that all those boxes are checked. I want to watch how he reacts to some of that trickeration maybe in the backfield. Not that they're going to be running anything exotic in the preseason. This is all very base offense, very vanilla offense, as we all know. But I just want to pay a little bit extra attention to it for however long he's out there. I want to see if he starts. I talked about last game after the game, watch, he's get first team reps. Well, he's been getting first team reps. Now you can dismiss it by saying, oh, well, you're running, 3 safeties out there. You're rotating everybody in with the first team. So it's not that big a deal. Well, first team reps is first team reps. You know what will be a big deal? If Sidney Brown starts over Terrell Edmonds and Kayvon Wallace. That will be a big deal. I'm curious to see how they roll their safeties out there tonight. That's the number 5. I want to get out of the way because we already know that we have something in Sidney Brown, so I kind of want to see it again. After that, I kind of want to see number 4 on this list. Same reason I want to see their safeties and how they roll their safeties out. I want to see what they do with the running back position. Is Kenny Gainwell going to get reps tonight? Is DeAndre Swift going to get time off, or is they going to continue to try to integrate him into Brian Johnson and Nick Sirianni's offense? How are they going to use their running backs? Is DeAndre Swift going to play again to get that extra playing time in this offensive scheme? Rashad Penny, a guy that can't stay healthy ever in his career. Are they going to roll him out there tonight for some carries? I mean, somebody's got to run the football. It's not going to be all Boston Scott and Kenny Gainwell. If Kenny Gainwell's even getting any reps tonight, they might look at Kenny Gainwell and be like, "No, you're the number 1 guy. You've been here. You know what you're doing, and we see no reason to put you out there." I'm very curious to see if they go with the same running backs tonight. Nick Sirianni talked about it after the first game against the Ravens. After the game, he came out and said that it was kind of just DeAndre Swift's turn. Then it was Rashad Penny's turn. Trey Sermon will get some carries. They got to continue to see Trey Sermon. But that led me to believe, hold on a second, is this literally what they're doing, where it's going to be Kenny Gainwell, Boston Scott next time? Because that doesn't make any sense in the vein of, do you want the guys that have been here for a long time still getting those carries when they don't need that experience? Why not the guys that are still trying to get their feet wet in this system with Nick Sirianni and Brian Johnson, like DeAndre Swift and Rashad Penny? Why don't you have those guys continue to play? But if you do that, then you got to worry about Rashad Penny staying healthy. So I'm curious to see if Gainwell dresses tonight. I'm curious to see if Boston Scott dresses tonight, or if they're just going to be on the sidelines chopping it up with their teammates. So I am curious about the safety position and how they're rolling out their safeties with Kayvon Wallace and Sidney Brown and Terrell Edmonds. I'm curious to see what they do with the running backs and who's actually going to be playing tonight against the Browns. Number 3 on this list is a guy that I thought turned some heads for the Eagles in preseason game number 1, and that's Tyree Cleveland. Tyree Cleveland went out there and made some plays for the Eagles. 5 catches, 68 yards, a couple of tight windows, a former 7th-round pick out of Florida. So maybe Brian Johnson really enjoys what the Florida kid can bring to the table. He's getting an opportunity here with camp, and he really impressed me. There's a back shoulder throw that he got from Tanner McKee that he had some great patience with. There was a throw, I think it was from Marcus Mariota, that he went up and got. He showed me a lot in that first game. And although it's a long shot for him to make the team, he's probably the safest bet as far as the guy that's actually going to play in this game that I'll get to see, like knowing that I'll see him play. But I want to see more from him. He's not a huge guy. I was surprised. He's only 6'2". He looks like a 6'4" type of receiver. Looks like he's got a bigger body than that. Looks like he's got a bigger catcher radius than that. But I was very impressed by what I saw. Used his body well, got positioning well on defensive backs, and just flat out made plays for the Eagles in that preseason game no 1. So Tyree Cleveland is somebody I'm looking forward to going out there against the Cleveland Browns and handling his business. Number 2. Tyler Steen. Started him at left tackle. They got his feet wet in his natural habitat, moved him over to guard for a little bit. But I thought he had an up and down game. I don't think he was terrible by any means. I don't think he was fantastic. He had one bad play where I think he made the wrong decision, and then he had one really good play where he actually was able to drive a guy back and really create some time there for, I think it was Mariota still in the game at that time. The DeAndre Swift run, actually, I thought he made some good blocking on as well. So I just want to continue to learn about Tyler Steen and see how he's playing. As we've talked about before, in college, he was a defensive end his freshman year, and then he flipped around and he was playing right tackle, and then he was playing left tackle while he was at Alabama. So I look forward to seeing what he can continue to do in the preseason. I need to continue to learn about this guy and see what he's doing in the event that he does come in, because we all know throughout the course of a season, you're going to have different offensive linemen come in at different times. Jack Driscoll has been their Swiss Army knife. Dennis Kelly is fighting for a spot on this roster. He got fourth quarter reps in preseason game no 1. Maybe they already know what they have in him. He's a veteran. Maybe he's already a guy that's definitely going to make the team. I don't know. But Steen is a 3rd-round pick that they see as a right guard down the line, whatever it is that Jason Kelsey's going to retire. And I feel like through the first game, it was kind of up and down. Didn't get blown up, but wasn't fantastic. So I think they're going to continue to use him at left tackle in the preseason and then slide him into right guard and use him in those two different ways because those are two positions that they're going to need throughout the season. They're going to need another guy that can be extremely versatile, and I think they're trying to train Tyler Steen to be that versatile. I want to see more production more of him holding his ground as a tackle and then seeing what he can do when they move him to the inside to play a little bit more right guard. So Tyler Steen is definitely a guy, if you're looking for the trenches, that's a guy I'm going to be looking at. Number one, and I don't even know if he's going to play. It's my biggest question when it comes to this defense. Look, you can talk about roster spot and who's going to be your starting safety, and that's fine. I think they're going to be okay at the safety spot. They got three guys that could potentially play that position. I think Sidney Brown's the guy. Let me just say that. But the number one thing I want to see tonight is Nakobe Dean on the field. If it's a series, if it's two series, whatever it is. I want to see his communication with Sean Desai. I want to see his communication with his teammates. I want to see him, above all, make a play. Like, one of the things people say about Nakobe Dean all the time now is, like, oh, he doesn't make that. I don't know one splash play that Nakobe Dean has made in practice or a game. All right. Well, he's at 34 snaps defensively. So that's I'm going to go ahead and file that under not a lot. And now he's going to be running your defense? And he's missed, 4 practices with a high ankle sprain? That's not good. The guy barely plays last year. He's getting this huge opportunity. The Eagles have already taken in 2 guys. Like, it's not a good thing that some of their first moves, so Dennis Kelly from their offensive line, and then Zach Cunningham and Miles Jack coming in to help you at linebacker. That's not exactly a great confidence booster for what they already have in linebacker. Not really good. Christian Ellis, I'd like to see a little bit more from, of course. Nicholas Morrow, I thought, had a good first game, so that's fine. But I really want to see Nakobe Dean on the field tonight. I think you have to see Nakobe Dean. If not tonight, yeah, you got to see him at some point in the preseason, and I doubt he's going to play a preseason game number 3. But I need to see him out there on the field. You're going to be the general of this defense? You're going to be the signal caller of this defense? You're going to have the green dot, and you've barely played? Look, there's a lot of people that doubt Nakobe Dean. Too small. Was great at Georgia, but will he be great at the NFL level and all that stuff? Team leader at Georgia. Will he be a team leader with the Eagles? Well, I'm not going to see it until I see him on the field. So knowing that he hasn't made the plays at practice, can he make the plays in the game? Even if it is just the preseason. It's the number one thing I'm going to be looking for tonight. And I don't even know if he's playing. If you're the Eagles, would you play him? I would play him tonight. Look, all this goes under the grant that he's healthy. He's been a full participant at practice. He's been back and all that stuff. I think you have to have him get that experience again with his new defensive coordinator. Now, look, there's some other guys. So those are what I got for you guys. I got Sidney Brown. I got Tyree Cleveland. I got the running backs. I got the Tyler Steen. I got Nakobe Dean. That's what I'm looking for tonight. Everything else, look, I think we all understand what we could get as a fan base from watching Nolan Smith play and run around and make plays. I think we all understand what we get from Jordan Davis, even from last year to this year. And I think we all know what we could get from a guy like Jalen Carter. I need to see it from guys that are a little bit more unknown. And I'm not saying the younger guys, even Jordan Davis, who you've already seen for 1 year. Seeing him at defensive end last week was pretty interesting as well. But watching these other guys like Nolan Smith and Jalen Carter, I just needed them to make one play in their first preseason game and went, all right, they belong. That's all I need for them for the preseason. They'll get their feet wet a little bit more as the preseason goes on. But the one guy I think right now is the biggest question. Like, Sidney Brown answered the question for me as far as the first preseason game went against the Ravens, and he showed up. He belongs. He can play. This guy's most likely going to be your starting free safety week 1 against the Patriots. After that, I'm looking at a guy like Nakobe Dean and saying, all right, you got some – for Eagles linebacker, for the standard they've set, which isn't high, he's got some big shoes to fill when it comes to taking over for TJ Edwards. The pedigree's better with Nakobe Dean. Now I got to see the play be better with Nakobe Dean. We talked about Tyler Steen being in his natural habitat of playing the tackle position. I think the Eagles were smart to have him out there in the tackle position just to get his feet wet. All right, this is the NFL. You're going to be blocking NFL players. Have at it, young buck. I think it's an interesting thing here with Jacoby Dean. If you do put him out there, I think it is a very big comfort thing to know that you got Jordan Davis in front of you, you got Jalen Carter in front of you, you're going to have Nolan Smith next to you. You got some guys that you're very familiar with, of course, playing on that defense with you that are right there in front of you or right there next to you. If that helps a learning curve for Jacoby Dean at all right, let's see it tonight. Let's see it start out tonight. That's what I'm looking for. What are you guys looking for tonight? Let me know in the comments. 7:30 kickoff in South Philly, preseason game number 2. Look forward to what the Eagles will bring to the table in that regard. As far as everybody else goes, I mentioned Jalen Hurts. I'm good. Don't need to see him. They might, the hometown game, roll him out there for a series. I wouldn't be shocked if I saw it. I wouldn't be disappointed if I saw it. Give the fans a wow for a series and then get them the hell out of there. Get the first team out there. Get your offensive line out there. Tyler Steen comes in later, right? Let's see how that works. Maybe they do it in front of the hometown crowd, but I don't need it if they don't. I'm the one banging the drum like, oh, it's football. You got to play. Well, what about injury? Yeah, it's football. Injury's going to happen. I'd like them to play. But for a year like this, coming off a Super Bowl, coming off an MVP performance, MVP caliber performance in your quarterback for the season, all pro, all the accolades and all that stuff, I'm good. I think they got it. I think Brian Johnson and Jalen Hurts aren't going to need that leeway of having experience with calling plays from one to the other. I don't think they're going to need that. So I'll pass on that. Now, with Kobe Dean, another story. He's going to need that communication with his defensive coordinator. So let me know what you guys are looking for tonight. I made you guys a promise yesterday, and I'm going to stick with this promise that I will not be held hostage by James Harden. I am going to look at this situation with this naivete. All right, it's not even naive. It literally is what is going to happen here. You're going to get what you wanted pretty much at the end of last season. You're going to see Tyrese Maxey take over a bigger role with this offense, a bigger role with this team, playing next to Joel Embiid with no James Harden. Now, the unfortunate thing that comes along with all that is the distraction that James Harden will be for the rest of the team. Now, you know who hates distractions? Joel Embiid. You know what he hates distractions from? Not playing. He hates distractions from himself. He hates people not looking at him and being distracted by looking at somebody else. Who has the bigger, you know what it is? It's driving by a wreck on the side of the road. Everyone just stops and stares. And Joel Embiid's on the other side of the highway. It's like, what about my car wreck? That's what it feels like right now. So, although there's going to be a distraction away from what the Sixers are doing to get ready for the season, and everyone's going to be focused on what happens with James Harden, I'm still looking forward to seeing what the Sixers do this season. I'm looking forward to watching the growth of Tyrese Maxey, and because that's pretty much all I have right now. When it comes to looking forward to the future with the 76ers, my hopes and dreams lie in the hands of Tyrese Maxey. There have been players that have come out in support of James Harden, whatever. Apparently, according to Tampering Tuesday on The Athletic, Joel Embiid reportedly tried to get James Harden to stay on the Sixers many times this summer, but Harden wasn't interested. So you can envision them being at Michael Rubin's white party in the Hamptons, just kicking it and saying, come on, man, stick around. Hang out with the Sixers. Stay with us. And Harden's like, Daryl Morey is a liar, and I will never be part of an organization that he is a part of. Let me say that again, Joe. Daryl Morey is a liar, and I will never be part of an organization that he's a part of. That's nothing. I would assume Joel Embiid would try to keep the band together. But how about this? According to Kelly, I'm sorry if I'm not saying this name right, Kelly Iko of Houston's Athletic, we know that the New York Knicks have been sniffing around, waiting like hungry lions for Joel Embiid to become available in a trade. Well, how about the Houston Rockets have entered the chat? Now, this is not a report that the Houston Rockets have called the Sixers and tried to make trades for Joel Embiid. That's not what this is speculation by NBA writer for The Athletic out of Houston, Kelly Iko. Another team to watch is Houston. just because the bond between Joel Embiid and Ime Udoka, former Sixers assistant coach, of course, the disgraced Boston Celtics head coach, maybe in the next year or so, because obviously if Joel stays this season and plays it out, that's one thing. But moving forward, I do think New York and Houston are the teams to watch if Joel Embiid said, I want to leave too. Here's where I am with Joel Embiid and the 76ers. Not just Tyrese Maxey, but Joel Embiid. Not just James Harper, but Joel Embiid and the Sixers. I am at a low point. Since the process started, okay, I am at a low point of 76ers fandom. I don't want another circus. There have been enough circuses in Philadelphia surrounding this basketball team, whether it was the process in itself, whether or not it was the Colangelo circus, whether or not it was the Brett Brown, Zaire Smith circus, and McCall Bridges, whether it's Elton Brand literally laughing. I shouldn't say laughing, literally smirking when Markelle Fultz couldn't play because of thoracic outlet syndrome. The GM of the team, in control of the destiny, was told by the agent, Raymond Brothers, I believe, that his number 1 overall pick, Markelle Fultz, couldn't play because of thoracic outlet syndrome. The smirk implied what a lot of us were already thinking. Oh, this guy he's just not ready to play. Like, this guy just doesn't want to play. And I give a lot of credit to Markelle Fultz. Ever since then, he has said nothing but glowing things about Philadelphia. And by the way, when he did come back, Philadelphia fans gave him a rousing ovation when he attempted a 3. Before it was trendy to cheer on Ben Simmons attempting to shoot 3s, we cheered Markelle Fultz. Standing ovation. I was at the game. Standing ovation for Markelle Fultz when he attempted a 3. We went through that circus. Okay, that's another circus we went through. And now we went through the Ben Simmons circus. So that was a boatload of fun. And now in trading for Joel Embiid, in trading for James Harden, we get to go through now a Harden circus. Potential fat suit unveiling. All right. I'm done with circuses. And I'm tapped out. The 7th game of the second round, getting bounced out again, not making it out, is still very much with me as a Sixers fan. I told you guys at the time, that's still a worse loss than the Eagles Super Bowl loss to me. Because the Eagles Super Bowl loss, Jalen Hurts, all that, I feel like we could be right back. The Phillies losing the World Series, I feel like with this team, you could be back. You could be back again and again and again. And with this squad, with this Sixers squad, it just feels like the end. Now, Tyrese Maxey, again, my hopes and dreams lie with Tyrese Maxey right now. If Tyrese Maxey comes out and he looks like a guy that is, very much in his prime, looks like he could be a guy to score 25, maybe 28 points a game. He plays like that. Joel Embiid plays more like a guy that can, score that same range, 25 to 28, but it becomes more of Maxey's team, where it's more of a 60-40 split, Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey. I'm here for it. If Maxey can be the Jamal Murray to Joel Embiid, as Jamal Murray, or the Jamal Murray to Nikola Jokic, if he can be like that to Joel Embiid, then this team is going to have a very good year. And it sucks that that's going to get swept under the rug by everything else, by the circus that will be James Harden. Again, I've told you guys before, I don't think this is, I know a guy like PJ Tucker says he stands with his brother. You're going to stand with who pays you. All right. Whether it's the Sixers dealing him anyway in accompaniment of James Harden will remain to be seen. But as far as players being affected, players are going to go to where they get paid. And one thing this ownership group has done is pay players. You can say all you want about Josh Harris and the Commanders and the New Jersey Devils and all that. His ownership group pays people. So if you want to get paid, Philadelphia is a good place to get paid. If you want a chance to win, you're going to be playing here with a guy like Joel Embiid, who, has not advanced past the second round of the playoffs. Tyrese Maxey might be able to help him carry this team through the second round of the playoffs. Patrick Beverley loves talking about how he helps teams win. Wouldn't mind seeing that either. But as far as the Sixers go, as far as this upcoming season goes, I hate to say it, but this is a developmental year. without making another key acquisition, this is all about developing Tyrese Maxey as a legitimate all-star caliber scorer and player next to Joel Embiid. That's what the year's about. It's not going to be about, unfortunately, even trying to win a championship. You're going to have what has become known as a gap year for the Sixers. And any talk of Joel Embiid leaving Philadelphia, I don't even want to hear it. Like, I remember when things started to hit the fan at the end of the Utley, Howard, Hamels, and Rollins era in Philadelphia, and Carlos Ruiz, right? I remember when things started to really hit the fan there, and people were like, well, why don't they just get traded? Why don't they just get out? You can help the team. And I'm thinking, if you're one of those players and you were here for some really good years, like the best run in Philadelphia Phillies history, if you're one of those players, don't you kind of feel like you have a sense of responsibility? Like you were here, the way you've played has led to the demise. So why don't you feel like you have to bounce back and get this team back to the other status? In the NBA, I hate the idea of, well, this is hard now, I'm gone. It seems like more than any other sport, it's the easiest to do that in the NBA. This is hard now, I'm gone. The classic example is Kevin Durant leaving. Oh, they're going to lose to these Warriors again? Yeah, screw that. Can't beat them, join them. Then he goes from Oklahoma City to Golden State. And then, it's pretty tough here in Brooklyn. Who's really good now? Oh, the Suns? I'm going to go play for the Suns. Feels like in the NBA it's easier to do it than any other sport. Well, this sucks here. I want out. But it kind of sucks because of how you played as well. Oh well. I'll go to where it's easier. As someone who supported 3 years of the process, I was kind of done with it after that. And that was when if there was any type of metaphorical contract or made up contract, more accurate, more made up contract, I signed on for 3 years. That I never signed the dotted line that said, be a Hinkiite forever. Nope, not for me. Never going to put an individual ahead of the entire team. The way some people did. But I agreed with the idea. I just didn't agree to it for like 10 years, which apparently was the plan. No thanks. But Joel Embiid has a lot to do with where the Sixers are right now. If he bolts after this year, that's going to be rather off-putting. I'll just put it to you like that. Let's get into the chat check and see how you guys are doing this fine morning. Let's see here. What are you guys looking for in tonight's game? And how you guys feeling about the Wait, what? I don't know why Kobe's getting a shout out, but okay. Thank you. Adam on Jacob Media. Appreciate you. Jumping over to the Farzy show chat. What's going on? Sean Kilrain. What's going on? Sean Gillespie. What's popping? Sean Kilrain. Philly's top position player prospect Justin Crawford makes his debut with high A Jersey Shore. Playing well this season. I did not know he got the promotion. That's great to see. So much ridiculous facts about Nola just boggles my mind. Sean Gillespie. Just boggles me mind. Thank you, Sean. Sean Kilrain. Let him go. Watch him go to the Mets and turns the season around. Just our luck they have the money. I'm telling you, if you let go of Aaron Nola, if you let him walk, if you see, I could totally see something playing out like Zach Eflin, where they kind of offer him a deal. They do offer him a deal. Do you think you can get more elsewhere? You need a little reset on your career. He does go elsewhere. He pitches well initially, gets hurt a little bit for the Rays. I can see something similar to that playing out. But what's going to suck is that Aaron Nola is going to have a good year next year. Just follow the bouncing ball of his career. Next year is going to be a good year for him. It's going to suck watching him wherever he is and be like, oh, there he is, 3.30 ERA again and not a 4.50 ERA. You know, that's what he's going to do. So it's going to be it's probably going to sign up somewhere like a 5-year deal. And he's going to have 3 good years in that 5-year deal. So next year, yes, it will suck. But everything else, not so much. Wait, what? T-Bro, felt bad for my Oh, that's right. I'll thank him for the runs. He looks so pissed. Was it Miza? Was that your cousin? T-Bro? I think that was who your guy was. T-Bro, what's up? Sydney heat-seeking missile Brown. Oh, rolls off the tongue. Sean Kilray, I want to see more Dean and Nolan Smith. Yeah, keep going. I want to see both those guys tonight. I'd love to see both those guys tonight. Miguel Sanchez, that's the way to celebrate Topper's birthday yesterday. Yeah, happy birthday to Topper. Oh, by the way, my neighbors were at the game last night. They drove up to Toronto. How about this? Hey, here's my problem with Canada, okay? The French stuff, okay? Look, is Toronto even like a big French city in Toronto? Like, I know Quebec is like the big deal, right? There's a lot of French and there's a lot of talking on the French and stuff in Montreal. But like Toronto is like, if you go to Toronto, I don't remember that many people speaking French. It's been a minute since I've been to Toronto. But these people were apparently jive talking my neighbors, and my neighbor actually speaks a little French. And he told them to shut the hell up. And they were like, I don't know, whatever they said. But sorry. But like that seems a little pretentious. Like if you're in Montreal, if you're in Quebec, whatever, and I understand the French stuff there, but Toronto? There could be transplants. I'm not saying there can't be transplants. But it just seems a little pretentious. Plus, I just don't think that they like the fact that the Phillies were winning. Anyway. Jeff, what's up, Jeff? Who's a better pitcher, Randy Wolf or Aaron Nola? Whoa. Wolf has a bunch more 10-win seasons. It's close on seasons, ERA under 4. Initially, I think Nola easily, but numbers are pretty close. Yeah, Randy Wolf is another inconsistent one. That's interesting. Wow. I'd have to look at the numbers, but what sticks out in my mind is Nola is the better pitcher. But yeah, when I go back, I'll have to go back and look at Randy Wolf's numbers. Because he was, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to go on the rabbit hole right now of looking up Randy Wolf's pitching numbers, but that's something I will do later. Jeff also says, if Embiid decides he wants out, only 2 possible moves I make. Trade him to the Heat for Hero and Bam, or to Dallas for Luka and pair Joel with Kyrie. Dallas looks lost. Maybe it's possible. I am not opposed to either of those. Hey, look, I am still in the vein that I was at the end of the season, where I'm not pushing Embiid out the door. I'm not actively seeking a trade partner, but I'm answering the phone. I'm listening to offers. No, probably not that, but this, whatever. And then probably nothing gets done. I'm listening to offers. That's where I'm at with Joel Embiid. If you're telling me Luka Doncic comes here, yeah, okay, I'll take that. So yeah, I would not be opposed to that. Hero and Bam. Yeah, all right. I'll party with that. Sean Gillespie. Damn, Elton. Yeah, Elton Brand. Remember that? Hey, so what's going on with your player's medical issue? I was told he can't play. Mesa. Sorry, T-Bro. Yes, Mesa is your guy. Yeah, that was a quick day of work. Appreciate it. Tell your cousin I said what's up. Lost all confidence in Embiid from game 6 and 7 in the playoffs. We live in Philly infamy. Oh, we'll live in Philly infamy. Sean Gillespie, I agree. Sean Gillespie, jive talking? You jive, Turkey? Turkey is a bad person. Did you call me a jive turkey? It's a phenomenal scene. Semi-Pro is not what I would call an Academy Award-winning movie. But boy, did it have its moments. Every time I see a big check, like presented at like a charity thing, I always think of the line when, what's the guy's name from Bad News Bears? He makes the half-court or full-court shot, half-court shot, whatever it was, and they present him with a big check for like $1 million, and he can't cash it because the team is bankrupt. Spoiler. So Will Ferrell, he goes, "Hey, I tried to cash your check, man." Will Ferrell says, "Did you take it to a big bank?" I don't know why that line is so stupid. I laugh my ass off every time I think of it. Fantastic. Jason A. on Jacob Media. What's up? What's good, Farzy? Can't wait to watch the game tonight. I can't wait to watch the game tonight either. I don't think we're going to see anything fantastic by any means, but I do have the 5 things, as I mentioned earlier, that I really want to see in tonight's game. Thanks, everybody in the chat. You guys are great, as per usual. Let's get to the morning rush brought to you by Sky Motor Cars, SkyMotorcars.com. Phillies do have that off day today. They're back at it against Washington Nationals, 7:05 start time tomorrow night. Michael Lorenzen gets the start for the Phillies, his first start since his no-hitter. He'll have more than 6 days rest to relax, recuperate, and he'll be back on the mound tomorrow night, hoping the Phillies can actually turn things around in terms of starting a winning streak. They win another one today, and then one the day or tomorrow, and then they win another one after that, and that's what's called a winning streak. So let's hope that the Phillies are able to do that. Lineup-wise, I think most people could predict it. I said it yesterday, but I think lineup-wise, Bryce Harper was going to be your first baseman yesterday. He was your first baseman yesterday. With the day off now, can I get that again? I don't see any reason why Bryce Harper is not at first base at least 5 days a week. 5 games out of 7, he should be your first baseman. If there's any worry, concern about the elbow, any worry, concern about him at first base, as far as talent and being able to play the position, that is gone. That is gone. Health-wise, okay, hey, you guys talk to the doctors. You guys know more than us. By all means, keep him as healthy as possible for the playoffs, of course. But I see no reason why, A, Kyle Schwarber should be in left field again, and B, why Bryce Harper should be your designated hitter. That lineup was that was the change they made in the lineup. I predict that was the change they'd make in the lineup. It was really, I think, an obvious thing to predict. Rob Thompson ended up doing that yesterday. Tomorrow, when they're back on the field in D.C., I'd love to see Bryce Harper at first base again. And you know what? Either Weston Wilson out there in left field, or maybe you have Jay Cave out there in left field again. Maybe that's the opportunity that you have for some of these younger guys. Maybe Brandon Marsh comes back in the not-too-distant future. You see him go out there in the left field spot. Christian Pache, maybe he comes back. He had a couple of good hits for the Phillies last night in the minors for, I think, AAA Lehigh Valley. And then I saw he got picked off at first base. Cool. So maybe that'll be an opportunity for the Phillies to get more reps for some of the younger guys there. But for me, I don't need Bryce Harper as my designated hitter anymore. And I don't need Kyle Schwarber in left field as my left fielder anymore. I think the Phillies have shown, I think Bryce Harper has shown you, he can stay healthy and play the position well. So what are we doing here? Doesn't make any sense. So I'll look forward to that tomorrow. One more thing for the morning rush. I saw this comment from Joel Bitonio, and I mentioned yesterday the tweet from Brandon Lee Gouton about Jalen Carter putting him on his old behind a couple of times during the first day of joint practice. Now, the first day of joint practice did not go well for the Philadelphia Eagles, but in that first day of practice, Jalen Carter was able to push 2-time first-team All-Pro and 5-time Pro Bowler Joel Bitonio to the ground on his back during 11-on-11 drills. Bitonio came out afterwards and said, this was according to, I think, Cleveland Plain Dealer, that the Philadelphia Eagles were taking cheap shots at Deshaun Watson during practice. Philadelphia Eagles are taking cheap shots. And this All-Pro decided to, instead of defending his quarterback during joint practices, he chose to complain about it in the media. Deshaun Watson did not have a good joint training camp session with the Philadelphia Eagles. He's picked off, I think, 3 times, twice by Reed Blankenship. So he struggled, all right? And the Eagles, obviously, they wanted to just, get in his head a little bit and swat the ball out of his hands, whatever the case may be, okay? And instead of taking exception with it on the field, because the only scuffle that started was after Sidney Brown made a block on a Reed Blankenship interception return, only then did a little scuffle ensue. If someone's touching your quarterback in a way you don't like, imagine that happened here in Philly. Imagine that happened with the Eagles, okay? Let's imagine that, like, Myles Garrett was knocking the ball out of Jalen Hurts' hand, or let's do this. Let's say that they were doing something that Lane Johnson or Jason Kelsey took exception to. Do you think they're going to complain about it in the media, or do you think they're going to handle it right then and there on the football field? I think they're going to handle it right there and there on the football field. So I read that yesterday from the Cleveland Plain Dealer, and I'm like, so hold on a second. You had a problem with what the Eagles were doing to your quarterback, and in the moment, you did nothing? You decided to then wait for a reporter to approach you and go, I don't really get them. I'm going to complain about how rough they are. Taking cheap shots with my quarterback. You nerd. I can only imagine if the roles were reversed. I don't think Jordan Mailata is waiting to go into the locker room or walk off the field and get a reporter's scrum in front of him and be like, hey, so how was practice? Well, I'll tell you what. I don't like the way they were treating Jalen Hurts. That was BS. So why didn't you do anything about the moment? It's a good point, mate. I should have done something about it in the moment. Anyway, I found that to be hysterical. That Joel Bitonio, one hell of a football player. Good God. Took it up with the media as opposed to handling it in practice. So, yes, I thought if roles were reversed, Jason Kelsey and Lane Johnson, and even Landon Dickerson, they would have a thing to say about it in the moment. They wouldn't have something to say at the podium. Like what do we call it on social media? Keyboard gangsters, Twitter tough guys, whatever it is. Yeah, no, they're handling it in the moment. This team's got each other's back. Wait, Jason has got one more thing to say. Do you think Sixers ever live up to their history? It all relies on Tyrese Maxey. All right, coming up later today, ladies and gentlemen, no Phillies game tonight, so no Fighting's post-game show here on the Jacob Media YouTube channel. I will be on with Derek Gunn for the entire show today, all 3 hours. Me, Tone DeShields, Derek Gunn, as when Tone and I are in for Rob Ellis, who is moving his daughter into college. So I look forward to being with Gunner again today to talk all things Eagles, what them guys are looking forward to about the preseason. Game number 2 tonight at 7:30 in Lincoln Financial Field against the Cleveland Browns. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. You guys are great. Jim Hyder produced the program, did a wonderful job. Be back with you guys on the Jacob Media YouTube channel at noon today for Sports Take. See you guys then. Have a great day. Bye.